of fact, can I say it like this? You just need to be happy that God is either using you to plant a seed or water a seed. Just be glad he was using you to do something. Because there's a lot of people that wish they could be used and their name ain't even been called. You ought to be glad that your name is getting called. Listen, it seems to be very difficult for Christians to believe that our continued spiritual growth depends on God. Why is that difficult? I'm so glad you asked me with your nosy selves. The reason it is difficult is because you too smart for your own good. God done gave you a little bit. He done pushed you out a little bit. He done nudged you a little bit. And a couple of folk know your name, and you got more than 2 nickels. You got 2 dimes you can rub together, and you start telling God, don't worry, God, I got this. I'm going to work this. And you only talk to God when what you're trying to do don't work. I want you to know that is not maturity, that's usury. And too many of us are operating with God with the spirit of witchcraft. I said what I said. Because anytime there is usury and manipulation, that's witchcraft. And I want you to know you can't pull the wool over God's eyes, so stop trying. Just grow up. Just grow up. He's trying to increase you, and he's trying to put you in position so that not only are you just declaring stuff on Sunday because the bishop said declare it, but you are declaring it because you believe it. I found out last year the reason some of our people are still broke, it ain't because they didn't declare the thing, it's because they didn't believe the thing they declared. So if you don't believe it, then the seed that has been planted, you've now plucked it up. So you're watering an empty hole. Ooh. See, we have to get out of this subtle legalism that we operate in, where we want to operate by laws, rules, and rituals that often creep into our lives, and then we want to act as if that's a spiritual discipline. You don't obey natural law. I know you ain't obeying the law of God. And you only know the law of God when you're trying to do something to somebody else. Stop trying to use the law to manipulate other people into doing what you want them to do. The word of God is not meant for you to use to pull people into a place to be subservient to you. God help me. If Jesus could submit to the role or to the leading of his Father, why can't you? And I'm going to use a bad word, and Bishop, I'm going to talk to you because they're looking at me funny and they're making me a little nervous. I'm going to just talk to you. There's a bad word in the church that many people don't like. Matter of fact, it's so bad that people take it out of their vows when they get married. Submit. They can't stand that word. But only mature believers really understand what submission is all about. Okay, it's 7:03. I got a little bit of time because I ain't going to get through this whole lesson. But can I just talk about submission for a little bit for the mature room? Well, first of all, do I have any mature believers that are really mature? Okay, cool, good, great. Watch this. When you start talking about submission, submission is not lording over somebody else. That's called manipulation and oppression. Submission is 2 individuals coming together under a mission that's beyond them. They are operating in partnership to something that's bigger than who they are. That's why when it says that a man shall leave his mother and father and leave his mother and father's house and cleave to his wife, so the two shall become one. The two are now coming under the same mission and goal and vision for the family. Can I ask you a question? When was the last time you really came under the mission of this church? That's why people are struggling now, because ain't nobody operating under the same mission. Submission means I'm going to flow in the thing that's greater than me, and I ain't got to be in charge as long as I can plant, as long as I can water. Matter of fact, I may not even plant or water. I might just be the one that's carrying the seed. But the reality is I'm going to do my part because the church is bigger than me. Souls being saved is bigger than my attitude. Souls being saved is bigger than my personality. Souls being saved is bigger than my name being in lights. So I'm going to come in, and it does not matter who's over the ministry. Just put me in, coach, put me in. But we don't like submission, because submission means you ain't in control. I tell people all the time that Jesus was a poor negotiator. While he was in the garden, he was praying. He said, Father, if it be thy will, let the cup pass. But then he turns around in that same breath and says, nevertheless, not my will, submission. I don't want to do this. Reality. His humanity. And we've all been given some stuff we really don't want to do. But I've got to the place in my life now where I can boldly say, if it be thy will, but nevertheless. And that's what we have to get to if we're really going to operate as mature believers in this season. You got to get to a point where you got a nevertheless in your spirit. Okay, just let's watch this. I got to keep moving. Got to keep moving. Watch this. Number 2. I only got to number 2. I might get to number 3. If not, then I'll send Black share my notes. He can teach it on Saturday or something like that. Watch this. Number 2. Spiritual growth, and Black share go ahead and get 1 Corinthians 9:25-27. But spiritual growth takes effort, diligence, and discipline. If you are going to grow maturely in this season, it is going to take effort, diligence, and discipline. With all you undisciplined folk, where can't nobody tell you nothing. You grown, we know you grown, but you acting like a baby. Understand, church, that God supplies the resources and the enablement for your growth. But here it is. We must provide the effort, the diligence, and the discipline. Can I tell it to you like this? You will not grow without